Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to swap the boot cover on this flashlight, and I figured I'd show you in case you're somebody out there like me who likes custom flashlights, just got into it or whatever, and you're just like, okay, they work, it's cool. I kind of figured out how to program them, but I don't necessarily want to take things apart or whatever, so I'm kind of learning, and I figured I'd show you how to switch the boot cover on these. Very simple process, but can be a little daunting, I guess, at first. First off, this is a barrel custom flashlight. This is the rail. This is in aluminum. It's got this distressed blue Cerakote, I guess. And it's pretty slick. It has this ring on it that has these numbers. It's supposed to look like a scope, I think. Rail, kind of got a Picatinny look, I guess. I don't know. But I do kind of want to swap those internals. I think all you have to do is take the head off, which has an amazing thread. I mean, it is buttery smooth, and there's like a million threads. I love it. Feels so good to loosen. And then I think, well, I noticed there's like an O-ring right here as well. I wonder if that is where that goes in. I'm not sure. But this, see how that spins? I think you would just remove that O-ring right there, and then that ring would come off. And then you just put the O-ring back on. I don't have a ring to replace, so I don't really think I need to do that right now. But pretty sure that's all you got to do is remove that O-ring and then put a new ring on. And maybe this will come out once that ring is removed, because I'm not seeing any of that black here, so I don't think that O-ring is... Oh, maybe that's not even an O-ring. I don't know what that is. But I don't think that is holding that black part in, that inside part. Not sure how that comes out. Maybe once I get one, then I'll show you how to do that. But right now, I don't really know if I need to be taking apart stuff that I just need to put right back together. You know what I mean? So anyway, I kind of just take out the battery so that I'm not messing with the switch. Like, it's not switching on and off a million times while I'm doing this. And then I'll grab my tools. I've been using these nylon picks. I can link them down below if you're interested. I have a set, so I have these sort of flat-ish ones that are probably better for like pushing down O-rings and stuff. And then I'll need the switch covers. I got them from Okluma's website. I think they're the DC1 switches boot covers, because these are, you know, bigger flashlights. The DC0 is very thin. Those are these small ones. I don't know if you can see the difference. And then they sell them with nub and without nub. And I think the ones you want are without nub. The ones with the nub look like this. They have a little nub inside. And I think you can cut that nub down to make the switch more sensitive or whatever. But you definitely have to cut it, because when I tried it, it didn't really work. It was too, you know, tall. So here's some that I removed last night. These look the same as these Okluma ones. They do not feel the same. And I noticed one of them had like Chinese writing inside. And they feel a little bit softer. Not as I don't know how to explain it. But I like the feeling of the Okluma ones. Plus, it gets dirty around the inside here, and I just kind of want to clean that out. So there's a couple ways you can get these out. I think you could just grab pliers. Needle nose probably is preferable. Might try these because they don't have teeth, and that way I don't have to jack anything up. But I don't know if I'll be able to get a grip. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I could also, you know, maybe actually close them, but I don't think they're gonna be able to grip this in the right. Yeah, no. So I'm gonna need needle nose. You probably want better ones than this. I'm using my Arc, Arc. Because when I tried to get this out last night, I gave up because it was really late when I was trying. I had just done like 2 or 3, and I don't know, I just gave up. I gotta be careful because you don't want to be pinching the switch and yanking on that. You want to just be pulling on the actual rubber or whatever. So you kind of just got to get a hold of it and yank it, but I'm struggling to really pull this one out. It doesn't want to come out like the other ones were easier to get out. So I think maybe I need to try to get in here and remove this O-ring first. That's going to be my theory on this one. See that? It's just kind of not cooperating. I don't want to rip the O-ring either. So I don't know why this one is more aggressive in here than the other ones I took out. The other ones I took out came out real easy. It's almost like this O-ring is really hard or something. Just can't get it. Or it's just in there better. I don't know. Usually I can just yank the button up and it'll come out, and then you can get the O-ring around it. But this one just doesn't want to. It's still in there, still working. It's just not coming out of there. I don't want to just destroy the button. That's my biggest concern, is accidentally destroying the, not just the button, the cover, I mean. Oh, okay, never mind. I said to not be a pussy. So this one does seem to have, I don't know if that was a nub that was cut off. It's kind of what it looks like to me. Nope, it's got some Chinese writing in there. And the Okluma ones do not have that. So these are just a little squishier. And then you can see that O-ring is just like, let's see if we can get this thing out now. Why it would be in there so tough. We're going to get it, don't you worry. There we go. All right. So now you'll see, this is the McClicky switch. It's literally how it works. Here's a new one. Let's say I wanted to replace the actual switch. This is it right here. So it does have that little bit of travel. I was just testing that. So yeah, it feels normal. But basically that's it. And you just need something to get into these slots, tweezers or whatever. Okluma sells a tool to do that. I ordered that. And you just put it in those slots, and then you can tighten it into the threads. And then on this end, you'll see this side come through. See that? And I think there's just an O-ring underneath, but pretty simple process, it looks like. Once I need to swap one, I may do it, or I will. I'll do it on camera, but as of now, I just want to swap the cover, so I don't need to mess with this. And these are very affordable, by the way. You can buy the switches, I think, on Mountain Electric, I think it is, and they're like, I don't know how much they are, $10 or something like that. I don't think they're very expensive. It's just plastic and a little bit of metal. There are these different rings in here. I guess maybe they're like spacers and O-rings to get everything to fit right. I'm not sure. But let's take a look at this O-ring and see what's going on here. I think it's just very dry. So first thing I'm going to do is throw alcohol on it to clean it. I know that's going to also dry it out, but just bear with me. I think I don't know how new this flashlight is, or I think it was from like earlier this year, and I don't know how much it was used. It definitely got dinged up a little bit, but shouldn't be, bad. There we go. All right. I'm going to take some of this Nio gel that I was recommended for O-rings, and I'm just going to lovingly put that on to the O-ring. Might as well, right? I don't see any reason not to do that with this O-ring, because the O-ring is only going to touch the rubber, so it shouldn't cause any issues, and this should lubricate this guy. I believe this stuff is safe to use with either rubber or silicone O-rings. So that was one of the reasons I got it, because it was recommended to work with both. And if you put the wrong kind of lube with rubber or, you know, silicone, it can mess things up. So anyway, going through these buttons here, but I ordered more already because I'm a maniac. So basically what you do is you simply just put this in and then put the O-ring around it. It's pretty simple. First, I do want to kind of clean down there a little bit. See if I can get anything out of there. I don't see gunk or anything, so I don't feel the need to go crazy. And let's clean this because this looks a little beat up. Now, from what I understand from Okluma, these are made out of rubber, and they're made on, I think he said they're made on a Durameter. I don't know what that means or anything, but look at that. That looks good. Yeah, and it's much more clicky. Like, it's just a harder press. Some people won't like that, though, just to be honest. So now you got to get the O-ring around it. And you can do it two ways. So you could take the switch back out, or I keep calling it the switch, but I mean the boot cover. You could take this out, and then you could put the O-ring around it like so. And then, I got that grease on me. And then you could kind of try to weasel everything in together. That is definitely a good way to do it, because you could kind of put this side in there a little bit. And then, but you got to be careful because that switch needs to be first, obviously, right? We could try it this way. I usually like doing it the other way, where I put the switch in and then shove the O-ring around it, but this might work. So I just use this to press down. And I'm pressing on that switch as I'm pushing, because I don't want the O-ring to get in there first, obviously. And I use this one because it's kind of like a spatula. Less likely to poke any of these O-rings. These O-rings seem very durable, though, to be honest. Let's see. I don't know if this is going to work well. It feels like I'm battling against the O-ring, and I need that switch to be in there first. So, all right. So that's in there, but I'm not sure how well that O-ring is seated. So that's when I'll take this side that's a little bit pokier or thinner. And I'll kind of just push around the O-ring. Because the O-ring, usually the way these guys design these is there's like a little pocket inside there for the O-ring to drop into. There's like a little circular wall cut in here. And the O-ring kind of falls into it. Hopefully that makes some kind of sense. And I need a flashlight. And I just happen to have this O-light. So it's looking pretty good, actually. I don't know if you guys can see. Let me try to get to a lower mode here. There. You see how the O-ring... Let me zoom in. I actually have my iPhone 15 Pro Max right now because my other one is transferring a video over. So that O-ring has to kind of drop into a slot on the side there, and it looks like I actually got it pretty damn good. Damn. Is that perfect? Yeah. It's literally perfect. Okay, cool. So, zoom out and then test. And sometimes you'll have issues, like on my FocusWorks when I did this the first time. It was flickering a little bit, so I just had to adjust, like, I had to redo it. We'll see how it looks. See if I left it on or not. Guess not. So, there it is. So it just has a little bit more of a tactile, like a stronger push. If you guys know me, you know I like a strong detent on a knife, and apparently that transfers over to flashlights. I don't know, I'm a weirdo, but I like when it's a little bit harder to push. Less sensitive, I guess, because I have fumbly fingers where I'll like kind of jitter a little bit, And I don't want that to just turn it on. So you'll see I need to actually push. I need to want it to come on. And so these switches are perfect for that from Okluma. These seem the same. I thought some of these had the Okluma switch or a rubber one in there already, but they seem to be a copy of or just a different version of from China. And you can see, well, I could be wrong. That might not be Chinese. That could be Japanese or something. But whatever that is, it's not, you know, it's not, I almost said American. It's not English. And you can see when you push this up, it looks like it was cut, right? It looks like it was shaved off there. It kind of looks like one of these. Kind of looks like one of these, the nubby ones. But then it was cut. That's basically what he was saying. I talked to Jeff. He's the Okluma guy, Jeff Sapp. And he said these are made for you to, you can cut this nub at any point where you want, and that'll let you make it as sensitive as you want the button to be. Or you get the ones like I am using, oops, that don't have any nub in there. And it just lets the button do the work, which I showed you earlier. The switch, you know, it's already got some play to it and whatever, but that nub will let you kind of add a little bit more if you want. If you want to make it like where you tap this, like you barely touch this and it comes on, you could do that. But the way I have it, you have to actually push in there quite a little bit. I prefer that. So, okay, let's make this a little more simple. Very sensitive and can be adjusted to any type of sensitive to more standard, letting the switch do the work. But these rubber ones from Okluma are stiffer versus these from China or silicone ones that are softer, where it technically does become a little more sensitive, but you have more travel. The ones with the nub will still have that firmness, but less travel to get it to come on. So there's a whole, yeah, that's right, guys. There's a whole fucking thing behind just the switches, because why not? Why isn't there? Why isn't there a whole, you know, you got to deep dive into everything. Can't just be easy, you know? So here's my little collection of nubs that I've gotten. And it looks like 2 of them are these, oh, how'd that guy get in there? 1, 2, I had another one, I thought. Hold on. This is another one of these nub guys. I don't want to have that in there. Oh, idiot. I somehow put it in there. So, let me put these away. So basically, these are a Chinese boot switch cover that people are using for their custom flashlights. But looks like Jeff over at Okluma has these made specifically for his lights, and they work in other lights. Now, since we did that one, and that was a roaring success. This one was in my pocket, by the way. This is the Pele. Fucking love this thing. I love them all so far. I'm really just stoked as shit, and I have more coming. I have another one I got to mess with because I tried switching it. I screwed it up. So hold on. Where are you here? So this is my FocusWorks F2. It's my new one. I had one in black, and I sold it to Josh Worth, and then I bought this raw aluminum one, and it works, no problem. But whatever I did when I put the switch back on, you can see now it comes up a little bit here. So when you put it on the tail stand, it weeble wobbles. It works, but it weeble wobbles. And I actually got it to where I fixed it. So I kind of just pushed down on everything, and it kind of worked. Let me just try it again. But it obviously came back up. Yeah, and I can't, for some reason, get it to go back. So let's try this again. Might honestly be good sometimes to leave the battery in, because then you can see when you're grabbing the switch on accident. But hey, this one was easy. I just kind of yanked it out. They're pretty durable, honestly. I haven't fucked one up yet, and I've been yanking on them. So in here we have, again, this little O-ring. So let me just hook it here. So we have this O-ring. I think I already lubed that one yesterday. And this one happens to have this little washer thing in here. And I don't know why the other ones didn't have that. This one does. That adds, I guess, a little bit on top of it. And maybe, I don't think, technically, I guess it could help waterproofing, because you're covering the little circles inside there where the tool goes. I don't know if that could be, but I don't know what I did to make it stand up taller is the thing. So let's just see how it looks. See, that's not like a centered thing with that washer. So I don't know why it's not like falling into a slot. It's just kind of there. And let's drop this in. And without the O-ring, it is just sticking up a little, it seems like. So maybe the O-ring is supposed to pull it down a little. I kind of want to test it again with the Okluma one. And I'm wondering, if I take this off, am I causing any problems by doing that? So where's the ears? So just to try it. Now you can see that sits nice and deep in there. So she said. And it does make it a little stiffer, obviously. But I kind of like that. I don't know. For this one, for some reason, I like the original one a little better. I don't know why I do. But let's see what it looks like with the O-ring, or with the washer with this one. So even with the washer, you can see it's not sticking past. But this one, man, it's so close, but it looks like it is sticking up. I'll try it one more time. Actually, you know what? I'm going to switch and see if this does anything. I think the first time I installed it, I did it kind of weird. So let's try this. Now, again, you have two methods you could do it in. So let's try method A, where we put it around the switch and kind of force everything in at once. That's one way we can do it. Grab this guy. Grab our spatula. And we'll push. See, that O-ring kind of wanted to go in first, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. I guess it's almost impossible for that O-ring to get ahead of it, but and if you guys are flashlight experts or something and you have tips, please leave them down below for myself and any newbies who are also doing this kind of weird shit right now. So there you go. That O-ring always kind of bunches up in a corner there because it's, you know, obviously got to fall into a gap down at the bottom. At least I think that's how it works. So you got to kind of press it down and in. And then I kind of just push along the edges on all sides to get that O-ring seated properly. And I usually feel it first, make sure. It looks a little weird there, so. Yeah, and with this switch on this flashlight, it just is a little stiff. Like, it's hard to get the push going. And that's what bothers me on it. I think that's why I took it out the first time. And I don't know if it has anything to do with that ring in there. So, yeah, it's in there perfectly. So I'll show you what I mean. It'll be hard to, I guess, show you, but I just forget I gotta push with this one. What? I thought I turned it off. That was weird, right? Wasn't it kind of on? So maybe it's gonna do that flicker thing again. So it works just fine. And tail, it's just a harder push, that's all. It's not the cycling. Well, let's see. Look, it's doing it with this one too. Weeble wobbles. I don't think I'm doing anything different. So what I tried was, I tried pushing really hard on it while pushing on the O-ring. To see if that would seat it better. But it's not working. And I can attest to the fact that the other one sits flush. So it's not the light. It's not meant to do this. So let's see if we can get it out of here. All right. So I don't know if the O-ring came out when I don't know why that would affect it. Because the switch is underneath the O-ring. Unless it's not letting it seat all the way down, right? I'm thinking it's this damn thing. But then again, that makes no sense, right? Because it worked before. But if I take that out, right? If I take that out and then work our O-ring in. Okay. So, feels a little easier to click. Boom, tail stands, no problem. Oh, sorry. That's just wobbling to start, but I can put pressure, I can feel the edges, right? And it's not pushing the button when I push down. So, I don't know. This thing, I guess it protects it from water, but if you think about it, the switch cover, right? It's covering the switch and those two holes, and then the O-ring is locking all that in place. So this is not protecting anything really. So I think it's just a spacer. And for some reason, it works stock, but I can't figure out how to place it right for after I replace it. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I can't think of a good way. Like, would it go? No, I can't think of a good thing for it. But I actually kind of like the way I have this set up now. It feels a little less stiff without that spacer, and it's perfect, honestly. Nice and deep in there now too. I can still thumb it. I won't be able to press as easily, but I don't usually do this a lot. And if I do, I index the thumb. I don't just stand on top. But look, I can change. Just can't press. So that worked out great. So I have another, see, I got one left now. I guess I could cut the nubs out of these and use them. Should be fine. I wonder if that's what these just cut. Not now. But I have a bunch of these now. I got 4 that I've replaced, and they all feel much better now. So I'm pretty confident with my switch cover game now. But I know that's not a huge deal or anything, but makes me happy that I've done that, you know? And I think the next thing I'll be tweaking with is the engines, right? Taking these pills out and all that good stuff. You know, got to learn some shit. But I also figured out how you adjust memory on this. So when I had I still have it, but I sold it to Josh. I had one with memory. And I don't like memory on my flashlight, so I wanted to turn it off, but you can't just program it on this light. It doesn't have programming. And what FocusWorks, Jordy told me, was you have to solder, you have to add a solder or whatever to the star, the 4th star. And I'm like, okay. But if you look at the other one, I actually go get it. Hang on. Sorry, I'm nerding out a little bit. Here's the zoom out. Here's the other one, the one I sold. And I didn't mess with this one in any way, but you can see switch just sits inside and it tail stands no problem. And I'm pretty sure this one did that before I switched the cover, so I'm pretty sure that was me that made that happen. But so zoom in again. You can see that 4th star on the left there. You can't see it here because it has that solder attached to it. So I guess what you have to do to turn memory off is put solder from that star to the copper. It kind of grounds it or something. I'm not an expert, guys. But I think that's what it does. It like you take the solder from the star to the ground or to the pill, and that somehow takes away memory, which is pretty wild. So, in essence, I know a lot of you know this, it's common sense for flashlights, but a flashlight essentially is the head. The engine, the brain is in here. So if I take this one, right, and I put it on here, right, I now have, click on, wait a second, turn it off. Now when I turn it back on, I have no memory. It's going to come on low, right? No memory will come on low every time. This one, put it on medium, turn it off. Now when I turn it back on, it's going to come on medium, right? Now, if I take this off of here, and this off of here, and I put this head on here, guess what happens? Right? See, it's on medium right now. Turn it off. Back on medium. Because the head is the brain. So even though it's on a different flashlight, it's still gonna, when I put it back on here, it's gonna come back on medium. Totally switched bodies and everything. Right? So just wild that it can do that. I know that's dumb, but cool at the same time. What was going on there? Did you see how it like came on and then cut off, and then I must have had the switch on or something, but then it was off again when it tightened down. Look, it's doing it again. It must be pushing against the switch because it has that spring in there. Because I don't think I left it on. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Blink, random. Tighten it. But then it works just fine, so. So we can also compare these. So there's low on this guy and low on this guy. They're both 4000K emitters. It's just memory, no memory. They both have the same LEDs and everything, driver and everything. So you have that one. Then we'll do medium. Yeah, I would call it basically identical, which they are, but yeah. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Look. Okay, so it is the way it's this guy. It's just the way it is. I'm not crazy. So it's just sometimes, obviously maybe when it's pushed in, it sits, nope, wobbly. I don't know, maybe just sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. It just depends on, could it be something that, no way. Hold on. I just want to try this, see what happens. No fucking way. Hold on. Look at that. No wheel wobble. Seriously. Like it's wobbling, but it's just pretty sure it's normal wobble. Like I can feel all the sides when I push down. It's definitely a little bit, touching a little bit, but then you put the battery in. Whoop. And now it wobbles more. Huh. I wonder if, because there's just the tension from the, I don't know. That's crazy though. It kind of removes the wobble when you. All right. Well, anyway, you can get rid of that. If you have one of these and you have the wobble, you can get rid of it by just removing that washer. I don't know why that washer's in there. It's probably a reason that I'll find out later. All right, that's enough for today, guys. We switched the boot cover on this guy. Really happy with that. And then we switched it on this guy. Really happy with that. So I've done it on like 4 of my lights now, and it's been a pleasurable switch. So I'm really glad that I get it. Pleasurable switch. I'm really glad that Okluma offers those. One thing I want to mention is the LEDs in this one, the barrel. They're Samsung 351D or something, 5000K. they have a weird tint to them, I feel like. So it's not bad or anything. But for 5,000K, it's almost like oddly... You could see this is definitely warmer. Wait, did that just have memory? Uh-oh. Did I fuck everything up by swapping the heads and shit? Low. Let me just click on high. Let it set, see if memory kicks on. No, that's low. Am I crazy? Medium. Should come back on medium. Yeah, okay. Maybe I just was... I double tapped or something. Who knows? Anyway, this is 4,000K. I definitely like this better than this. This has like a weird tint. But I only really notice it on this board, which is dumb. But like when I shoot on the wall or in a room, I don't notice as much. This one, I'm not sure what it is because it doesn't have a COA. But you can see it's a much cooler looking light. This might be a Nichia 5000K. So that temperature does not mean everything, guys. The optic can change things. Other things can change it. And you can also see this one has more of a hot spot look than this one. This one's more floody, which is interesting because they're both triple emitters. And this one's actually a 16340, so it's a little bit of a slimmer body. Technically, I think everything in here is the same, though, width-wise. They just use a 16340 because they have that sleeve and everything in there that they need to fit, where this is just, you know, the tube. So, all right, that's enough talk. There's some flashlight tips and nerding out for you guys, and you're probably going to get more of these just flashlight rambles. So, hope you guys enjoy them. Let me know in the comments if you know anything I don't, because I'm sure there's lots of info out there. I'd probably just ask Jordy, but if you know, please let me know if this does anything important, because it's causing issues for me, and I prefer it to just tail stand versus weeble wobble, even though it's fine. It'll work, but, you know. All right, love you guys. Hope you have a fantastic day, and I will catch you later.